Good job. There we go. Say hi to the camera. He's like, where are my treats? Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Gemma. I'm a certified dog trainer and this is my Border Collie Chase. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to teach your dog to jump into your arms. Okay, so for step one, you need to get sat on the floor and ideally have your legs out straight, and you need the tasty treats to hand. And all we're going to ask is our dog to hop it up onto our lap. So if they don't have a command for that yet, then that's okay. At this point, I wouldn't be giving any cues. I would just be luring them on with the tasty treat. So let's see if we can just get them to get all of their feet onto our side. Perfect. And then break. Good boy. And if you have a cue already, like I do for break, to just break out of a position, then you can use that, or you can just let them hop off. So we're going to repeat that a couple of times. So we're just going to get them to hop it up. Nice. Perfect. Break. So we want to make sure that they're really comfortable. Obviously this isn't very far off the ground, but it's still a little bit unstable for them, and they are close to the position of being into our arms. So we can also start to kind of wrap our arms around them just to get them comfortable with where they're going to be when they're jumping into our arms as we're stood up as well. So even though this might seem really basic, this is a really core part of the trick, the foundation to just having them used to being a bit unsteady off the floor and into our arms. So let's do that one more time. So we're going to have the treat, we're going to get them up, we're going to wrap our arms around. Good boy, lots of praise, and hop it off. Hop it off. He doesn't want to get up now. Good boy. Okay, sit. Very good. So once your dog is super comfortable getting on and off of your lap, the next step would just be to start increasing the height. So stay at this level until they're really comfortable and confident, and then we're going to look to have them jump up onto our knees. Okay, so you can see just slightly more raised off the floor, being on our knees. So we're going to start that same process over again. We're going to take a little treat and we're just going to encourage them up and make sure that we get that bum off the ground. So some dogs may just put their front paws, hop it off. Good boy. So you may find that some dogs just get stuck with their paws like so. Just lure them slightly higher up until they can't stretch for the treat without having to lift their back feet on too. Just be patient. Nice. And make sure that we reward and give praise when they do so. Good boy. Break. So we're going to do one more of those. Oh, he's excited. Let's try that again. Good boy. I think he thought I was further away than I was there. Good boy. Break. Very good. Okay, so same again. Once the dog is super happy and confident like Chase was there in jumping up onto your lap, we're going to make things even harder by raising the laps even further off the ground. So we're going to get onto a chair. So I'll show you that now. Okay, so you can see this is a little bit of more of a jump from the first to the second step. This time we are quite a bit higher off the ground than when we were kneeling. So we do need to be patient, give our dog time and make sure they're really confident with the first few steps. And let's see if we can get them up onto our laps on the chair. So we're going to keep them nice and calm by our side. We're going to make sure that they see that there's a nice tasty treat in our hand, and then we're going to move that up. And as I say, they might get stuck onto there and they might need a little encouragement. Oh, good boy. And you can just use your other hand to kind of help support their bottom if they are struggling to get off the ground there. And break. It will help and it will improve as they get more confident, and now that he knows what he's doing, he's going to come at me with a bit more speed, and that will give him what he needs to get off the ground on his own. So to begin with, if they are a little hesitant and unsure what we're asking them to do, then as I say, if they get to that point where their front legs are on your lap, you can just help to gently, we're not forcing them up, we're just giving them that extra support at the bottom to just lift them off the ground there. So let's try that again and see if we can get a little bit more speed. There we go. Very good. And break. Nice. And one more of those. So you can notice as well, I'm always starting with Chase on my left. Just whatever position you want to be in for the trick when they jump into your arm. So I'm right-handed, and I find it easier having him jump with my left hand supporting his bottom and my right hand supporting his head and body. So just make sure that you're consistent working them from one side, just so it's really clear where they need to be position wise. So we're going to go, very good, brink. Okay, now at this point, obviously we've repeated with Allure quite a few times to get them the motion of jumping into our lap. Now I want to start to introduce the cue word. There was no point me doing this from the beginning, as they would have had no idea what that meant. Now they have a confident, consistent, repetitive behavior where they're jumping into our lap. Then we can start to introduce the cue. So this could be anything. I'm going to use arms as my cue. So let me show you. I'm going to say the word, and then I'm going to keep everything else exactly the same. So I'm still using the law, so he still knows what to do. So I'm going to move him closer. Arms. Very good. And then we're just catching them and supporting them there. Break. And I always just use my hand as another motion to tell him to hop off as well. Okay, let's do one more of those with the cue. So I'm just lowering him to my side, and then I'm making sure I'm ready to catch. And then I'm saying, arms, good boy, break, nice. And I like to do this in a soft landing to begin with, so somewhere that's carpeted ideally, or just put down a mat or a rug or something that is stable but is nice and cushioned for them as they are jumping off of our laps from a height. The next step will be to raise our laps even more off the ground, but we still need a nice sturdy base, so we're going to do that on the armchair next. Okay, so you guessed it, the exact same process, we've just raised the bar slightly higher. So I'm going to take my treat in my right hand, I'm going to lure him to my left, I'm going to make sure that he's not trying to get up until I'm ready, so I've just used my other hand as a weight. I'm going to make sure my lap is fairly steady, so I'm actually going on my tiptoes just so it's a bit more of a platform for him. And then we're going to say, arms, good boy. And because he already knows what that means, I'm just going to lower myself off. Obviously, your dog might be comfortable jumping from that height. I'm sure Chase is, but I just don't want him to have any unnecessary impact repetitively. So I'm just going to help him from jump down for now. Okay, so we're going to try that again. This side. Wait. Arms. Nice. And as I said, I'm always doing that bear hug just so he knows that this is going to be the final position. And then I've got nice, comfortable grip as I lower myself off. Good boy. Let's do one more of these. This way. Wait. Arms. Oh, good job. He actually landed his paws over my arm, which is going to be the final position there. Whoop. Good job. So that was a really nice one. So you can tell he's definitely very confident and comfortable in jumping up onto me from that height. So that tells me we're ready to progress to the next step. Okay, so for the next step, we actually want to lean against a wall, and we're going to crouch down to make us so that we still got that platform that they're used to landing on our laps. We don't want them to be completely into our arms at this point, but the platform is obviously starting to get a bit more slanted as I am not in a complete sit down position like when I was on the chair. I'm just leaning against the wall, so I'm still showing them what they're familiar with, but we've just raised the height up even further. So I'm going to grab another treat, and I'm going to bring him round to my left as he has been. And like I say, I've got my legs, and if you can get into a bit of a lower squat for the first one, then great. Just make sure you've got your feet planted in a solid position. And we're going to go arms. Very good. Very nice, buddy. Good job. And I don't want to hold him into that position for too long, so we're just going to let them jump down. So we're going to show you that again. So I'm luring him to my left, and this time my legs aren't quite as low down, so he's going to jump slightly higher. Oh, and you just got to make sure that you're ready to catch. Good boy. One more time, and then we'll try the real thing. Okay. Right, just make sure that Chase sometimes gets ahead of himself before I'm ready. He's so excited that he's jumping up and I'm not prepared to catch. So make sure that they are in a nice stay until you give them that command. And we're going to say, arms, Good job. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, so we're going to give this a go. This is, as I say, the first time we've done this in a while, but hopefully I've reminded him as we've gone through the process, and now we're ready to jump into my arms. So same again, I like to have him on one side just so I'm prepared, and I do like to kind of bend my legs for the initial impact, and then I can obviously stand up straight and he should be comfortably there in my hands. So let's give this a go. Don't forget, treat in right hand, start on the left. We're going to use the cue and we're going to lift our hand up and then we're going to catch. So we're going to go ready, arms. Oh, good one. Not the best catch, but we've got to get used to this again. And you may want to wear some long sleeves. I can see I've got a slight scratch there already. So yeah, definitely if your dog has sharp nails, then try some long sleeves. Okay, let's try again. Good boy. Weight in. Arms. Good boy. And we can see he's comfortably in my arms. Good boy. And then you can take that outside. You can take it on the road. I also found this a really good trick for places like in the vets. If I needed to get Chase onto a table, he's not always comfortable being picked up, and I wanted to have his permission. So I find jump into my arms is a really nice trick that he can give me permission. He can on his own accord jump into my arms, and then I can put him onto a table, up onto a platform, or whatever else I need to put him onto. So let's try that one more time for the final trick. Ready? Wait. So I do find I'm putting my right leg forward just for the initial impact. So we're gonna go arms. Good job. There we go. Say hi to the camera. He's like, where are my treats? Good boy. And thanks for watching. This is Jump Into My Arms.